Warning, this movie is filthy. I know I cuss sometimes, but geez, this movie is shameless. If you are easily offended, turn down your volume, but please keep watching. I need the views. Also, I've had to blur out some nudity. I might have missed some, but you'll have to watch to the end to find out. Thank you, and enjoy the show. Welcome to my 100th movie review. Oh, you're too kind, thank you. Stop it. It started in June 2016, and it's been just over 2 years. I figured that called for something a little glamorous. When you think of Vegas, you think of glamour. Bright lights, overpriced shows, buffets. I like buffets. But what began as an adult playground, with gambling, hookers, buffets, became a family place. It's easy to forget there's another side. A less glamorous, more gritty underbelly. Paul Verhoeven, the director of RoboCop, Total Recall, and Starship Troopers, tried to put the adult back in adult playground. Vegas was built for adults after all. And in the 90s, there was a trend towards sexier, more adult movies. It started with Basic Instinct, written by Joe Esterhaus. Then there was Jade, Sliver, Color of Night, Wild Things. Everybody wanted more nudity, more titillation, just more and more sex. We wanted our R ratings, and we wanted them now. It all became moot when people figured out the internet had actual porn. But we'll always have the collaboration of Verhoeven and Esterhaus. No, not that one. But instead of doing an R rating like everyone else, they decided to do what they do in Vegas. They gambled. And went for an NC-17 rating, which is a family-friendly way of saying porn. It's also a surefire way to limit where your movie opens and almost always guarantees a flop. But sex sells. Did it pay off? Both hands where I can see him, this is Showgirls. Don't tell me they blew the budget on these amazing credits. Tone it down, guys, you're just getting started. Honestly, the United Artists logo was more glamorous than this. When this comes on, I feel like I'm about to watch a Bond movie. Then this happens. Elizabeth Berkley is Nomi Malone, a street-smart young drifter with a shady past and a dream. She's so street-smart, she carries a knife while hitchhiking. She's also so street-smart, she leaves her belongings in the car of a total stranger, who of course robs her. Maybe what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas because it can't afford a bus ticket out. But Vegas is a friendly town, and she meets Molly, played by Gina Rivera. Nomi explains her sad tale and lets it all out. So naturally, they become roommates. It's like two broke girls without the horse, and funnier. Nomi becomes a stripper, and Molly is a seamstress at Goddess, one of those topless Vegas shows, the kind Nomi dreams of dancing in. It's bring your roomie to work day, and Molly shows Nomi around. I'd rather watch Blue Man Group. It's not hard. Ow. She meets the big star of the show, Crystal Connors, played by Gina Gershon. They say never meet your idols, because idols will let you down. No chill, Crystal calls Nomi a prostitute to her face.
It's not dancing, I know that much.
I think it's class warfare. It's like preps versus jocks, only here it's showgirls versus strippers. Somebody write that. Her night is open, so Nomi goes... Dancing? This is dancing.
She can dance, can't she? Damn, she thinks she can.
Is someone just mashing her controls? This is how I play Street Fighter. She flirts with a bouncer, James, played by Glenn Plummer, and somehow starts a brawl and gets arrested. James bails her out, and she's grateful. Well, not really.
Back off, motherfucker.
Why does this woman have friends? Her boss is Al, played by Robert Davi. Agent Johnson from Die Hard. Lynn Tucci plays Mama, an old-school burlesque performer and an absolute hoot.
You can touch them, they cannot touch you. Now if they come, it's okay.
One day, Crystal and her boyfriend Zach, played by Katie Lang, Kyle MacLachlan. That hair though. They order a lap dance with everything on Zach. just so Crystal could humiliate Nomi yet again. This whole scene is awkward. Let me paint a scene. Zach sits and Nomi starts giving him the dance. She goes over to Crystal for a second, starts licking her own boob, staring at her real hostile-like. I'm gonna kill you with my boob. Then she goes back to Zach, and she's buck naked, by the way. And she starts waving her crotch in his face. And he's like, no, I'm good, thank you, I'm good. Woo! And then she really goes to work. She's basically dry humping him at this point. She's like one of those used car lot things. And Crystal's staring like, the fuck? And he climaxes. Even mussed his hair. But it's okay, he puts it right back.
500.
$500. Includes the tip. Vegas must be a really small town because James just happens to be there to witness Nomi not being a whore.
You got more natural talent when you dance than anybody I've ever seen.
Give that man an Oscar. He managed to say that line with a straight face.
I saw you! Man, everybody got AIDS and shit.
I'm pretty sure you stole that line from Orson Welles.
You fuck them without fucking them. That's what you do.
Everyone keeps calling her a whore. No wonder she's so hostile. This guy's here to offer Nomi an audition for Goddess to work for Crystal.
When I saw you dance, I thought, yes.
Bullshit.
What kind of classes have you had?
I think it's very obvious I have very little class. And her audition is brutal, but nothing worse than what they go through at Google.
I'm erect. Why aren't you erect?
Nomi ices her nipples for no man. Nomi smash. Remember how small Vegas was? And James loses his job yet again. Everybody got unemployment and shit. So I guess this is a dance lesson? You know, that's more fun with Kung Fu sounds. Which escalates to making out, but like the sentence, it comes to a stop at the period. He doesn't believe her, so she proves it to him.
It's all right, I got towels.
Classy. You know what they say, when there's a period, there's also a colon. Ow! Nomi still gets the job somehow, and after obviously lying on her application, she's a dancer at Goddess. So she quits her regular job. You can take this job and shove it. No, wait, in this town that could mean something else entirely. Well, he moved on fast. Everybody got dumped and shit. Opening night. Why thank you, my Diet Coke is a bit warm. I wasn't gonna bother with another clip of this god-awful show, but Nomi slips in monkey shit. Don't ask. Crystal and Nomi bond over dog food.
Oh, I used to love doggy chow. I used to love doggy chow too.
Can you blame them? They made these things look delicious. If I can make it one day without being called a whore...
You are a whore, darling.
God damn it. At least Nomi's not the only target of aggression. These two have been fighting the entire movie. Why? I don't know. My mom brought me to work when I was little, but she was a waitress and I got free cake. This is just weird. And do people really want autographs from random boat show dancers? But they do expect her to do more than dance.
We sing.
Karaoke. Now you're talking.
Listen, you're getting $1,000 for this.
Yeah, for this! This!
At least Zach has her back. In a way.
Phil, you dumb fuck, get back up here, would you?
I've never seen a more literal interpretation of bros before hoes. My god, dancers are mean. Meanwhile, these two are still fighting. One sabotages the other because, you know, bitches be trippin'. Jesus, did they leave her on the show writhing in pain until the end? Nomi is visited by Al and Mama. Sad to think these are the closest she has to family in this town. Al actually gives a touching, almost sweet moment.
You were good. Real good.
And ruins it.
Must be weird not having anybody come on you.
You really need to stop quoting Shakespeare. But now Nomi wants to be queen bee so she can get some of that honey. So she seduces Zach. Picture it. Nomi and Zach in the pool. Booby. They start having sex, and remember that scene in Jaws where they keep shooting barrels into the shark? and he keeps going underwater. Her sex move is she's flopping around like a fish. He's got this look on his face like, I don't know what's happening. And scene. Learn to spot the symptoms of a seizure. The life you save may be someone you love. It turns out Zach is easily impressed and gives Nomi a chance to audition for Crystal's understudy, because the position opened up suddenly like a shattered kneecap. And she does get the job for like 2 minutes. Crystal has him withdraw the offer because she doesn't like Nomi fucking her man. Nomi handles this professionally and maturely, working things out. No, she just shoves Crystal down the stairs.
Lillian, the bitch is falling down the steps again.
With this many people around, there are surprisingly few witnesses.
Tough break, huh?
God, it was Nomi the whole time.
She's got a compound fracture of the right hip.
Oh, Christ.
You know how long those take to heal?
Why don't you put some ice on it?
The show goes on. The stardust is never dark. Not while I'm alive.
R.I.P. But she's the star of the show. Without Crystal Connors, they'll have to just rename the show The Connors. That joke lined up a lot better than I expected.
We do what we do in Vegas.
We don't have time to be married by an Elvis impersonator. Nomi still gets Crystal's job and becomes the star of the show. I can relate. How do you think I got this job? Quiet, you! Anyway, things are going great for our girl. Pizza. Nomi catches her dream, vanquishes her enemies, and snags her Prince Charming. The end. What do you mean there's another 20 minutes of movie? Alright, let's do this. Well, Molly knows the truth, but gets with the program because she gets to meet her idol, singer Andrew Carver, played by William Shockley and not Richard Branson. Remember the part about not meeting your idols? The movie decided it need one more, bigger villain, so it pulls one out of thin air. Carver is a vile monster that, along with his bodyguards, rapes and assaults Molly. This is a brutal scene that does not fit in with the rest of the movie. It feels shoehorned in, and it bothers me that someone wanted to shoehorn it in. You already set a tone for this movie, and this one scene does not fit. Now I'm expecting Paul Kersey, the good one, to pop in and shoot somebody. But Carver is a member of a corporate family that looks after its own, and the matter will be swept under the rug with nothing but an out-of-court settlement and an official denial. But her true identity is at last revealed.
Polly and Costello. Your father killed your mother, then killed himself.
Polly. Her name is Polly. That would have been a great name for their sitcom. Polly and Molly on Fox. Not that it matters. They don't fire her for lying on her job application or making the company a party to fraud. The show is just gonna go with it simply because she's poised to make them all a lot of money. It is Vegas after all. There are families to entertain. She pays Carver a visit and beats the living crap out of him. Topless. This scene is hilarious when they play it on TV because they painted her top back on her. It's really bad. She's also lucky he didn't insist on having his bodyguards there like last time. Speaking of which, Carver's punished, I get that, but what about these guys? They were just as guilty. While making Molly an accessory to assault, she also pays a visit to her nemesis, who just happens to be a few doors down. But surprisingly, she's cool with it. Lawyers, yo. You know, I don't really get their relationship. All the humiliation, the power plays, the cattiness amounted to so little. But we get a parting kiss for the road because this movie was written by 12-year-olds. Nomi apparently turns her back on all the fame and fortune and hitches back out of town. And look who happens to pick her up. You don't see odds like this even in Vegas. She's ready for her next adventure. She'll just move from town to town like a slutty Incredible Hulk. That was Showgirls. Wow! Can you get herpes from a movie? A proposed sequel would have had Nomi tackle Hollywood, but it was cancelled when Showgirls did so badly. This is a long movie. A lot of it feels like padding. There are side plots that go nowhere or add very little. Entire characters that can be removed and nothing will suffer. They did give a sense that Nomi was in a much bigger, much weirder world than herself, But that world wasn't very interesting unless it interacted directly with Nomi. Nomi is an alley cat with two settings: pissed and really pissed. She may be a lot of things, but remember, she's not a whore. She's a really unlikable main character. I'm not saying she needs to be lovable, but her idea of portraying pain and frustration are little tantrums where she snaps her dialogue or throws something or slams her fists. This makes her look childish and unlikable. And when your lead is unlikable, it's hard to stay engaged. And for someone so street smart, she's pretty naive at times. They make it a point to make her seem uneducated, almost clueless.
Nice dress.
Thanks. I bought it at Versace.
Pronouncing Versace's easy. Try spelling it. If her tough childhood backstory was supposed to be a twist, they blew it. Maybe if she was set up as a more innocent character, this shocking backstory would be shocking. I'm not surprised her family's dead. I'm not surprised she's been in jail or on drugs or was a hooker. There's no contrast, so this reveal is toothless.
You and me, we're exactly alike.
She, like a baffling number of other characters in this movie, is drawn to Nomi. I get Crystal gets off on controlling Nomi, keeping her off balance. But why? Why her? She's set up as a foil, but ultimately just another stepping stone in Nomi's climb. After she's taken out of the picture, she's cool with it, so Nomi's off the hook for committing a brutal, callous assault. The majority of the women seem to have to be feral animals to hold their own against the men who, in various ways, are pigs. Great hair, though. But Molly is an absolute saint for taking Nomi right off the street. She does anchor Nomi by being probably her only friend. James, on the other hand, is an entirely pointless character. What does he do? He offers to teach her how to dance, which goes nowhere. He writes a part for her in a show he's creating. Nomi doesn't take the part, so that goes nowhere. He pursues her romantically, which goes nowhere. He starts seeing another dancer who he impregnates, then leaves the movie. My God, this movie is a train wreck. The cinematography is solid, the movie at least looks good, but the acting feels like a high school production at times.
You got more natural talent when you dance than anybody I've ever seen.
I do not want her to be pissed at me. I'm sorry!
This movie damaged Elizabeth Berkley's career, which is a shame. She was so excited to do movies.
I'm so excited! I'm so excited!
See? At one point, the filmmakers claimed they were creating a comedy or satire, just to explain the bad dialogue, bad acting, the terrible story, which I am calling bullshit on. They don't put rape scenes like this in a comedy. They wanted to make something edgy, something sexy. Remember, less is more? Sexiness is like a bell curve. But they cranked up the adult themes, the nudity, the sex, so cartoonishly high that it became a very unsexy caricature. Look, a boob! You need a story that takes the characters on a journey. Give to them, take from them, and change them. It's a morality tale where everyone is amoral, and they get rewarded. The only decent person is Molly, and look what happened to her. I'm sorry, what was the lesson here? In the end, Nomi gives up everything, which sort of renders the entire movie pointless. Sure, maybe it was about finding herself, but what did she find exactly?
Me.
She's literally back where she started, waving the exact same knife at the exact same guy. It was the highest grossing NC-17 movie of all time, and enjoyed a huge success on home video, which makes sense. This is not a good movie. That being said, I have a soft spot for it. This movie is hilarious. It's entertaining in a Sharknado The Room kind of way. Showgirls is a 2.5 out of 5. It could have been worse, but they still managed to make this movie oddly entertaining. It's cheesy, it's over the top, it's vulgar, it's got some really bad yet quotable dialogue. This movie is funny without even trying. Imagine if they actually tried to make it a comedy. My wife and I watched this on one of our first dates, and we had a ball ripping it to shreds. Watch it with someone you love. Like, subscribe, comment, you know, that stuff. Thank you for watching my 100th review. I have no clue how I've done so many. Just a little over 2 years, 100 episodes. I still feel like I'm growing, learning, hopefully improving. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. Sometimes when I feel like just hanging it up, a kind comment comes along and it reminds me of why I do this. You make it fun again. So thanks for sticking with me. And for those of you who unsubscribed, I'm not mad, just disappointed. This is theNewBee. I'll see you later, kids. Be good. Toodles!